To move on to the next panel. All right, I should probably read the title, the transition here. So this is the ESPN Edge, pushing the limits of cutting-edge technology with world-class partners. I think we're ready to cue our folks up on stage here. So first joining me is the Managing Director and Head of Global Brand at Accenture, John Klebrad. Sir. Next up, the Worldwide Strategy Director of Media and Entertainment at Microsoft, Simon Crownshaw. Head of Sports for Meta's Reality Labs, Ryan Dornbush. And the co-founder and Chief Business Development Officer at WSC Sports, Aviv Arnon. I mean, I know all of you, and we've all hung out before, but sitting here actually reading your official titles is pretty amazing. I mean, you guys are big time. I feel very junior sitting up here with all of you. But we got not a lot of time here, but I do want you each to take the opportunity to do a quick intro for yourselves. And so I'll start on the far side. So Aviv, quick, who are you? What do you do? And a little bit about WSC.
Okay. So thanks, Kevin. Really excited to be here again as partners of ESPN Edge. I'm Aviv from Tel Aviv. I'm one of the founders of WSC Sports. What we do is we help sports rights owners to automate the creation of sports highlights. We've been using AI now for 14 years to analyze sports broadcasts, understand what happens in the video in every moment, create clips of every play, and then the system can automatically package up those clips and tell stories and create videos of different formats, different versions to different fans, different platforms, distribute them wherever they need to go, and help the sports media industry cater to sports fans and create content at scale and a better experience for everybody. So it's now 5 years with ESPN, and second year now here on this panel, so excited to be here.
Awesome. Ryan?
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Dornbush. I lead our sports division in Reality Labs. We're part of a larger entertainment organization that is producing music and studios programming in addition to sports. Over the last few years, we've worked on content both in metaverse variety, so if people are familiar with Horizon Worlds, how it comes to life in an embodied experience, also in an immersive way, storytelling from live venues through our 180 technology.
Please.
All right, nice to be here. My first time here. Thank you, Kevin, for having me. So Simon Crownshaw, so I lead our worldwide team for everything M&E related. That means a lot of things. It means I'm on a plane a lot. Ultimately, we're part of all of the different partnerships that we run around the world, whether that be the NFL, the ones with the ESPN, the Premier League, the NBA, and beyond. And I unfortunately cannot spend all of my time on sports. I'd love to spend a lot of time here, but I also have to work in different studios, publishing, advertising, and everything else. But we spend a lot of time with customers, working through their technical architecture, their challenges, the next generation of experiences. And I am really pleased to be here. I think what an amazing event to talk about some new technology, because I think, Kevin, you said it on the previous panel, it is changing so fast, it is hard to keep up. I will tell you, on the Microsoft side, every other day. It's really hard to see all the changes that we're experiencing, but it's super exciting.
Awesome, thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am John Klebrad. I'm the head of global brand at Accenture. And very simply, what I try and do is tell the story of what Accenture does. We do that through paid media, we do that through social media, we do that through advertising and many more channels. And innovation, client stories, making Accenture real through what we do with our clients is a critical piece of what we do. And I'm joined by some amazing partners here today, and I'm looking forward to this panel.
Great. So I've got a question for each of you, but feel free, crosstalk, jump in, agree, disagree, all fine, I'll referee, don't worry about it, I'll make sure it's fair. But John, I'll start back with you here. Accenture was a first mover with us at ESPN along with Microsoft. You were a founding partner, a founding member. We've been in partnership for a number of years now. Like, can you think back on the projects that we've done in partnership together? You got any favorite projects or favorite things we've done together in the past couple of years?
Yeah, and Kevin, thank you. You said some nice things about us.
Yeah.
We can't say enough nice things about you as an innovation leader, as a great human being. And this is my 3rd year at the conference. And what I love about this conference is innovation is such a big word. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. This conference, this partnership, everybody here, we make innovation real. And we make innovation real every day. And some of the things that we've talked about, Accenture, ESPN, many of the partners here over time, have been real, tangible innovations that have come from our partnership. Everything from closed captioning to be more efficient and faster to bringing access to more sports like lacrosse, professional soccer, through generative AI summaries. And at Accenture, we're known for our scale. We pride ourselves on our speed. And we always want to be where clients come first for the new technology and new challenges for everything that happens. And another one of our key partners that we have is the NFL. I'm very excited to work with the NFL, and it's still a pinch me moment to say that on stage that, hey, we work with the NFL.
I think they're huge.
Yeah, it's high. But through that, what do you do from an innovation standpoint? We've worked with them in their international strategy to look at new markets, to explore how you take the passion, the love of the game in the United States and make that real in Madrid, real in Brazil, but still have the local flavor and the local nuance for each of those cultures, as well as data and AI to find new player pools, this, that, and the other thing. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here as a business leader, as a technology geek, and just as a sports fan, to hear how all of these individuals, these many talented individuals in the room, are helping shape the future of sport.
Great. You said you're really a massive organization. They like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of global employees. You said scale. I don't think anyone really appreciates how many employees Accenture has and how well you support everyone. So yeah, don't need you to wax on that, but I just want to point it out for the crowd. All right, Simon, you're up. Now you heard me kind of go on in a little bit of like an innovation tirade there on the last panel about AI bots and agents and bot-to-bot traffic communication. You and I have talked about this in the past. Like, what's like the future of AI agents in search? What's like the ask, don't click approach? And how does that impact sports, or how does that impact Microsoft?
Great question. I think for everybody in the audience, I think it's really important to understand the importance of where we are and what we're about to kind of see in the sports experiences around the world. I'm very romantic about sports, right? We remember personal experiences that we've had, and we want to experience more of those. Want to remember what those are. When we think about agentic AI, whether you're an operator, you're an employee, or a fan, fundamentally it's going to change the way you experience that. There's no question. Now, there are some elements of that are kind of boring, right? There's some architectural things that need to happen to make that work. APIs that connect the stories together, the data is really critical. And when we think about data, we're going to have to connect things differently around semantic understanding. What does that data mean to somebody else and what happened there? And that translates into a totally different experience for someone who's connecting stories. When I want to ask for something, I expect to get a story back that resonates with me. Right? When you're on a new platform or an app, you're going to be asking, not clicking. Today we scroll. We've spent 20 years building apps around scrolling and looking for content.
Right.
No longer. Right?
Right, yeah.
And I think what we've done, both with the NFL and the Copilot experience on the sideline, giving insights to teams and coaches around the world, right, is bringing that data and those APIs together to enable them to quickly get information, right, that they couldn't have got any other way in real time. When I think about what we've done with the English Premier League, and for those of you who are fans, right, we're changing the game with the way you can experience that with Copilot, for example. How you think about, you're asking about what a fan is, what you might be looking for, like a highlight per se, for example, or showing your favorite player. It's enabling technology to make sure you experience the game or player in a more personal way. And those agents are coming, and I think the challenge for everybody in this room is going to be, how do I make sure my data, my APIs are ready to get access to that, right? Because I'm going to do a lot more off-content discovery, off-platform discovery, which I think is going to be key.
Awesome. Thank you. Ryan, on the Meta side, I think we've worked together in partnership in Edge over the last year. We've had a ton of success. We've utilized your headsets on air a number of times in the last year. We had Stefania Bell in the virtual medicine segment. I learned what turf toe actually was for the first time, where we have Stefania put on a Meta headset, and then she goes in an immersive studio, and she shows like a skeleton floating. We've worked with Status Pro. We've had our talent put a headset on and do like an elite level telestration. And so from your point of view, like what do you think the future of content looks like utilizing these XR devices?
So one of the foundational distinctions that XR allows for sports fans beyond traditional screens is expanding the playing field. When you're not confined to a 1:16:9 monitor, and you can use your full space, it allows you to include more content and push deeper. So that really enhances the storytelling because we have a lot larger arena to play with. So I think we focus on those points of differentiation, I think, when you're going to see the next wave of content coming through. And I think it's going to show up in two ways in particular. The first of which is immersive live sports, which Meta has spent a lot of focus on the last few years through partnerships like our NBA, where we have transported fans to sit courtside at the Garden, or our Edge partnership, where just this past year, the Edge team produced originals from I think US Open, college football sidelines, the ESPY's red carpet. These are vantage points that fans, most fans will never unfortunately have the opportunity to get to themselves. And right now we're seeing such advancement in the video resolution, spatialized audio, the devices from a processing standpoint are getting faster and faster, that the quality of that immersive experience really rivals being in the live venue. So it goes beyond just making comparisons with watching on TV or digital devices. It really is a secondary way to get the live venue experience, and that's something that I think we're going to continue to focus on the Meta side. The other way that you see the content really advancing is the integration of second screens. So obviously most consumers are accustomed to use their cell phones or their laptops or their tablets to integrate video calling or social media, fantasy, and betting insights while they're watching their broadcast. When you have XR and you have your whole space to play with, we can now integrate those content experiences and synchronize them with the game itself. So it really, I think at the end of the day, producing cool content is a luxury, but utility has to be the driving force that is going to power that next wave of content, because it's what the fans expect when they've been watching for decades prior. So by integrating those insights in the ways that like Edge did, I thought was really great use of our tech for the medical insight and also the first-person analysis that Orlovsky did using Status Pro. Those are unique functions that the headset empowers, and the exciting thing is working with broadcast partners, streaming partners, league partners, to see how each one of those brands thinks they can translate their IP to leverage our device and our platform.
Awesome. Viv, thanks for hanging out, waiting for us to get down to you.
No problem.
So we've done a lot together over the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
We've escalated a number of different things. I think you might have cut 40,000 highlights, ESPN highlights in the last week or so, in partnership with the technology team, and digital video team.
Yeah.
So can you talk about like how our relationship has kind of like evolved over the last 5 years, and what are the most recent projects you've worked on in partnership with Brian Marshall and Aaron Teague and their teams?
Cool. So yeah, last year has been big for us. It's been a lot of new projects, innovations, new products we've taken to market. The collaboration with ESPN has been one we're particularly proud of. You guys, ESPN went direct to consumer with the app, so that was an opportunity for us to collaborate and help delivering content all the way directly to the consumer. So it meant for us that we've been already analyzing thousands of games. We're now onboarded much more content, all the games, thousands of broadcasts that ESPN covers are all automated, and then every video that's created is being created both in a horizontal and a vertical version. It's being automatically created and powering an experience that goes directly to the ESPN app. There's the SportsCenter for You function that is personalizing a content highlight for each fan based on their preference. And there's the Verts function that gets it in vertical, but also a personalized feed that is powering each fan's own preferences as well. So that's been a great partnership, and we've also started onboarding now the studio shows. So not just the broadcasts of the games, we're now analyzing about 20 shows of ESPN, so that's SportsCenter, First Take, we now just added Inside the NBA, so all that content, and all the content from the talents as well, that's also powering and feeding into the Verts function. So it's been great, and there's a lot more coming. I think personalization, also following on what Simon said, like is really key, and there's much more to do. With generative AI now, we're talking about other unique types of content, maybe kids shows or other things. And with that, I'll just mention a few other projects we've done this year. One with the NBA. I saw Scott here. We need to talk later about pushing a few more things.
I'm going to try and get you in trouble here.
Yeah.
Let everyone know in the crowd that you're currently wearing NBA-branded socks. So I also know that I think all of the rights holders here are probably also partners with you. So if you haven't sent Aviv and WC branded socks, you should probably do so.
Because I'm a walking signage for you later afterward.
Meta will take swag too, so please send it our way as well.
We don't have full socks.
Well, okay, I'm going to let you finish that, but I want to open it up to the rest of the group here. So first question to the full group, like how is AI powering your thinking for the future, right? So like you can finish because you're going there.
Yeah.
But like just everyone else be ready.
Just was going to name drop like Olympics, Winter Olympics is coming, lots of work for us in that. Premier League's been an amazing launch with Microsoft as well. It's been an amazing success. And with Yahoo, we've been doing also studio shows and other things. So looking at other types of media. So that's that. And like now, general AI, go for it.
So who wants to jump in here? Future, how are you thinking about AI for your organization's future without getting fired by leaking anything you're not allowed to talk about? I see the conflict in you, Simon.
No. Okay, so clearly at Microsoft, we talk about AI a lot. I would tell you that in our thinking every day, right, it's not just about how do we deploy, a chatbot or something like that, but it's the infrastructure that goes behind it. It's an immense amount of energy that takes it to come to life, all the data centers and the compute and the capacity to drive all those things. I think for everyone in the room, I would ask you to understand just how much it's going to take, for a company, even if the Walt Disney Company size, right, to understand how you're going to drive this level of efficiency with that amount of compute and capacity that's going to be required. So that's one of the things that's on my mind all the time. But it's also how you deploy the technology. I've worked in media for a long time, and change is hard. And how do we adopt those changes, and how do we actually deploy that technology, right? That's super difficult. So as much as we can, we have to try and remove the friction around AI. What does that mean? And that helps skill people to do things differently, understand how to keep the human in the loop. I think there are some really amazing things it's already doing, and there's an expectation almost, right, that it solves some of the problems that we've had, optimizing operations and saving money and all the rest of it. But it takes people to come together to work. That's what keeps me up at night, to think about that, right? Because we can keep on inventing things, but how do we actually deploy it at scale?
I can jump in too. We're all business leaders here. We all lead functions, and you're absolutely right about the data. And we set out the goal in our marketing function, which is about a 2,000 person marketing function located all around the world. And that was, we wanted to be the best marketing function led by humans, built for AI, powered by AI. You talked about the agents who are making decisions about your brand, and they're doing that right now. So how do we make the right type of content? How do we do the right types of things to make sure that what is being picked up is the things that you want to say? But then we also have this accelerator, this enabler that is AI. But in order to get to the nirvana, to the output, you have to do the hard work. And the hard work was 3.5 years ago, starting to organize our data. We had a very disparate data sources. Right. It was all over. It was siloed. And we got into the foundation of our marketing organization. We brought it together, we streamlined it. We then established our processes to say, okay, what are the processes that are going to be there? And then AI came into play to make us more efficient, faster, fewer tasks. And you hear a lot about new roles and new skills, and I just came out through talent discussions, and we take those very seriously at Accenture. And you're starting to see new skills, new talent, new types of roles emerging just naturally, organically, because you set out the goal, you went through the process, and now people had to do it, and they're learning more along the way than they ever thought.
Awesome.
On the meta front, I think the best example for us right now, we have a kiosk for our wearables line for our glasses. I think we recently just launched our Vanguards, and that's really been an incredible AI tool because it sees the world when you see it through in a hands-free environment. And so it allows you to interact with AI on a more efficient manner. It allows you to access AI without disrupting what you might be doing. And when it comes to sports, you actually can take it into your activities, whether it's cycling or running or other types of team sports. So that's the way that I think it's really pushing forward as a company in concert with our VR tech.
For us, AI is at our core. Like we've been synonymous with AI for sports for many years, but now with the technology changing so fast, I think we have a really unique position. We now work with over 600 rights owners globally, and we're analyzing all the sports broadcasts that are happening almost in the world, and we're now also touching the actual the fans themselves. So we get the consumer behavior, the engagement, and a lot of the sports media industry is coming to us a lot with the question on how can they use AI.
Right.
So we really see it as a job for us to figure out how we can help leverage the technology. So one of the things we're looking at is fan data. How can we help knowing the fan better, and what does that mean for our partners, and how can they then serve them better and get better commercialization, better business using that data. I'll quote my friend, head of fan data at WSC, and he stole that quote from someone else. Fan data is like teenage sex. Everybody talks about it. Nobody really knows how to do it. Everybody thinks everybody else is doing it, so everybody claims they are doing it. So we think we can probably help you do it. So and use AI to do that. So we'll.
I think you won the quote of the panel here. I think that's gonna.
Can I add to what he just said?
No. We're in the Walt Disney building right now.
Well, I want to say, because the sheer amount of video that we process together, right, in some instances, right, it's an amazing amount that doesn't have the appropriate metadata or data even understanding with it, right? I mean, so millions and millions of hours of content is uploaded every second, right? And we really don't understand what's in it and how to even pull it back. I think there's a phenomenal, and you're exactly right. We always think someone else is doing it when they're not doing it.
So we're analyzing over 1,000 broadcasts a day. That was even last year's stats. This year I need to get the new number. But yeah, so that's a lot of opportunity.
So to pivot, Ryan, you know how you use your AI meta glasses? I'm at home gardening. Yes, I garden. Go ahead and make fun of me. I love it. And I don't know if it's a weed. And so I'd say, hey, Meta, what is this plant? Is it a weed or a plant? And I have no idea what it's going to tell me. And it goes, no, that's a green bean plant. It just hasn't grown yet. So I didn't pull it because your glasses told me by taking a photo and running it through whatever, it improved my gardening at home. I've never told you that story. It's a true story.
There you go.
All right, we got 2 minutes left. Now, all of your organizations here have fantastic booths and displays on the side. So you've got 35, 40 seconds each, maybe less because I'm bad at math. I think I saw Adam Schefter over at the WSC booth earlier.
Yeah.
Can you just give us a quick riff on either what's going on over there?
Yeah, sure. So we have a demo. We had Adam Schefter and we have Peter Schrager afterwards interviewing people. You can see your own interview being automatically clipped, annotated, and you can then be shared on social. So we're showing a demo of that there. Yeah, come talk to us. Got a bunch of our great group from WSC here, guys. Yeah.
I think I made my my pitch earlier. Our glasses, our Vanguard glasses, are over here by the Meta stand. So if you haven't had the chance to check them out, it's very easy to integrate. One thing I'll just say in my household, as much as obviously I wish my wife was a VR adopter, she is slow to the starting gate. But when it comes to the glasses, she has been doing it for multiple months now. So check them out if you get the chance.
I love the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're amazing. But that's not what you asked me anyway,
Okay.
so I'll talk about something else.
You
But
can go whatever direction you want. Simon.
yeah. So obviously, we brought our NFL sideline technology here. We brought our Xbox, as always. And we're going to show off some of our other demos and content from the Premier League and other sports entities that we work through. And then next week, again, back on a plane. But actually, as Microsoft Ignite is next week, which is our big keynote conference of the year. So looking forward to it. Nice to be here.
30 seconds.
You got the plug.
Look at that.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Look, there's many great aspects of my job that I love. Love working at Accenture. The number one thing is the people of Accenture, best people in the world. There's a group of us here. Come over. We'll show you all the work we've done with ESPN, some of the other clients. Again, a lot of those tangible stories of innovation and with how we've made them to life. So
Awesome.
come by, say hi. They're very friendly, great people.
Well, thank all of you for your partnership, your friendship, and honestly, your technology. All right,
And
appreciate it. Thanks,
let's
guys.
do a,
Thank you.
let's do a selfie. Come in.
Oh, we're doing a selfie. Okay.
A selfie
are
with
you
the
in?
crowd. Yeah. Yeah, we got it.
All right.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Notes.
No John Candy.
No, I couldn't get it out. I'm still.
Hey, keep the applause going for them. That was a great panel. Very, very informative. Really cool. I have to say, I'm looking at this room right now. We are standing room only. Like, look behind you. This is unbelievable. We have packed this hall, which is wonderful. And to think that this conference started over Zoom during the pandemic to see where it is now, give yourselves a round of applause. This is awesome. Now, with that said, for the people just want you to know that this front row right here, it's not actually VIP. It was first come, first serve. It is completely empty. And I want to help you out here. So I'm going to pause for 10 to 15 seconds, and I would like some of you to sit here. We're going to take a break soon, but you need to rest your legs a little bit. Roz, thank you. I knew Roz would come through in the clutch, as she always does. Thank you very much. We're filing in. Excellent. Thank you. See? It only takes one. It only takes one. What if we, as she said earlier in the panel, which is a fantastic question to ask, not only as a leader, but just in life. And I want to talk about that for just a second before we introduce our next panel, because those three words are so powerful in generating ideas and trying things. What if we, right? Not everything is going to stick like sticky rice. Not everything is going to be a home run. Mustard on chocolate, probably not the best idea. But quite frankly, a lot of ideas end up being home runs and end up being things that stick in our minds for years and generations to come. And I would put our animated broadcasts into that category. I can tell you firsthand that a career highlight, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, to be a part of our Big City Greens NHL alternate broadcast was one of the highlights of my career. Not just with the team that I work with, and I see a lot of them in the audience now, the ones that will be on this panel, but the response, and Monica mentioned it with Dunk the Halls, I echo her sentiments. The response I received, not just from hockey fans, but from Big City Greens fans that were watching a hockey game for the very first time, and maybe they fell in love with the sport because this was a low barrier of entry for them to consume and discover the sport. For us to have the power to be able to do that and to work with many of you in the audience to achieve that, I think is truly, truly special. So to talk more about animated telecasts, demo with Q&A, ESPN, Pixar, Beyond Sports, and the NFL, let me first introduce our moderator, one of the coolest jobs in the company, believe me when I say this. He's the vice president of animation, graphics innovation, and creative production at ESPN Creative Studio. Please welcome to the stage, we know him as Spike, Michael Shikovny. Him and Phil Orleans, who's also in the audience, work to put these together, and it's always a fantastic effort. Next on stage, the creative director of franchise at Pixar Animation Studios, Jay Ward.
Woo! How you doing?
Business development lead at Beyond Sports. Oh, the brain, the motherboard. They do a lot of cool things. Tommy Bauman. He's literally here at this panel, and he's going to board a plane, hopefully, in the next few hours to go back to Amsterdam. That's how important it was to be here, so that's pretty cool. And the Senior Director of Media Strategy, Business Development, and Next Gen Stats at the NFL, Josh Helmrich.
Thanks.
Great to see you again.
Thank you too.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Edge Conference and the ESPN Animated Altcast session. Today, we're going to give you a little look behind the scenes of how ESPN, the NFL, Pixar, and Beyond Sports plays a key role in making these things happen. I know Arda gave us the introduction, but I just want everybody to just give you a quick bullet point on what they do at their company. So, Josh, we'll start with you.
Sure. I run our player and ball tracking platform called Next Gen Stats, and then work on some other strategy things like making our schedule and working with our TV partners like ESPN.
Tommy?
Yeah, so I'm mainly working with our clients to create like new sports experience based on the tracking data. And I've been working with ESPN since our first alternative broadcast, the NHL Big City Green.
And Mr. Jay Ward.
And I work at Pixar on basically everything in the post-theatrical window, how we engage with our audiences and fans around the world to bring the films they love to them in more engaging ways like this.
And I really sincerely mean this. The biggest, most fun part about doing these is that we have a blast working together. I love working with every one of these guys. So let's get started. Josh, tell us a little bit about how the NFL got into tracking and tracking data and how that led to the very first step of animated telecasts.
Yeah. Forever, stats in the NFL had been stagnant, yards rushing, yards passing. And as technology evolved and we got the ability to put tracking devices on players, we set out to build this platform that would hopefully benefit the entire ecosystem of the NFL, from our health and safety, our coaching and scouting, our video game partners. And one of the key tenets of that was always new media experiences for our fans. And so once we had this data, we first set out to build the best tracking platform that we could, and then we'd figure out those use cases. But one of the earlier ones was, how do we help improve the experience for fans? And so by working with somebody like ESPN, who had the foresight and Beyond Sports to really take it to the next level, we started with some of those things, which I think we have a clip later to show from the first iteration of that, but it's come a long way.
Yeah, it certainly has. And Tommy, tell us how Beyond Sports started in this field and what led up to that very first NFL animated telecast that you did.
Yeah, so Beyond Sports didn't do alternative broadcasts in the first place. So we first focused mainly on player analysis and using the tracking data to get the players back into the game for analysis purposes. And we were working mainly on the data side also with the NFL.
We first worked with Beyond Sports when we were evaluating 10 different tracking technologies and gave all the data from all the various partners to Beyond Sports to say who was the best. And they were then like, hey, we can do more than just evaluate data, which was great.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll some B-roll, and you can talk over it and see what this very first... This is very cool, because to see the very beginning is interesting.
Yeah, so we went to the NFL and said, okay, well, we can do more. And at the same time, we were working with ESPN Netherlands, and they said, okay, well, we want to do a full alternate broadcast. So we get them together, and this was the end result, and we needed to make it work. Well, we actually didn't really know how to do it back then. But this is based on just the next-gen stats data. So we know where the players are on the field, but no movements or any data of that. And we know where the ball is, but there was no height in the tracking data. So we were applying animations on top of the tracking data to make them move visually like good as the players on the field. And at the same time, we needed to apply like the data on the ball to have actually the height of the ball. And this was actually, when we had this done, this was a really nice project. And it was also the first time we were using a different kind of character than realistic. And it was streamed on Twitch, and it was commentated by ex-NFL player Dave Henderson and another Twitch streamer. And it was really engaging a new audience, because the audience was asking questions about American football and what was going on in the field. So yeah, we knew here we had something other than player analysis technology, or just...
So remember this video now, and it's interesting that this still is very charming. It's very fun, and yeah, it's like Tecmo Bowl, which is very fun. But Josh and Tommy, please explain how we were able to get to the next level. So you guys started to make some major advances, and we're going to show everybody that in a second, but talk about that a little bit.
I mean, not only did the players all have tracking devices on, and the football has a tracking device in it, and that continues to get better over time. But what really took it to the next level is when we brought in optical tracking and combined it with the wearable tracking. So we had two different data sets, both had value. Cameras work great, but as you can imagine in football, there's sometimes occlusion and you lose players. But when you marry it with the wearable data, which we don't really lose, you really get a continuous stream. But to marry those data sets and turn it into visuals, it was bringing in somebody like Beyond that really took it to the next level.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll this. This is the Toy Story video. It's a nice side-by-side, because again, what happens on the field in London in this case is exactly what was happening in our volumetric game. So tell us about that, Tom.
Yeah, so especially what you were saying, like we took the next-gen stats active tracking, which is in the shoulder pads, and this is a really reliable and stable data feed. And at the same time, we're taking the optical tracking from Hawkeye, who is tracking 29 points on the body, and we're using for like getting the detailed movements on top of the player. So combining those, we have actually best of both worlds, and you get the most visually natural movements on the pitch, like you're seeing here. And definitely here, it's not just the data, but also getting this to life. I think we needed to have the whole collaboration of the people here.
This is late 2023 that we did this. What year? How much earlier was that one with the Chiefs?
2019.
2019.
Yeah,
Okay, so
so
that's
it
how
took
far
some
you came
time.
in 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you see how it's starting to progress, and we're going to talk with Jay in a second. We're going to talk about some of the other stuff and how we get the secondary storylines in. But because of these advances, here we are today, and we're going to show you some exclusive footage of tests that we are doing, and everything you're going to see from here on out is a work in progress. But it's our next event, the Monsters Fun Day Football, which will air on December 8th. And yeah, so this is where we've sort of got to, and you guys tell us even more, like how are we getting here?
Yeah, this is what you're seeing here directly. It's already like, if you're looking to Mike and Sully, like of course, Mike really small. It's not fitting an American football player like body type. So even here, we have the data coming in, and we need to apply it on a character like Mike or Sully, who's like 2 times taller. So we are adjusting the data on top of these characters to make them still move like the actual player. And then at the same time, what we're doing here, and it's really nice to see the small details in making the players also more alive, giving them a life. So they're blinking with their eyes. The tail is wiggling. Even if they're running based on the tracking data, you see the fur from Sully going out. Like all these creative elements which you are taking off and getting back to us, and that's really nice to see.
It's come full circle, because I worked on Monsters, Inc. when it came out 25 years ago, and here we are today.
This will be your new movie.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah. So you're going to all get to see this on December 8th, and we hope everybody tunes in to watch. It's going to be really, really exciting. And again, this is some early stuff that we did, and we're working on making some improvements. And here to talk some about that is Mr. Jay Ward. Now, look, this visual data, it's fascinating, and that they can do this and that we can put this together. But the actual game is so awesome, but we also combine it with our IP, and we create extra storylines that go along with the game, because we can't change the game. The outcome of the game is the outcome of the game. Yeah. But we can create other stories around that. And Jay and I have worked together on Toy Story Fun Day Football, and now with Monsters. And Jay, tell us why Pixar likes to get involved with these type of executions.
I mean, from my perspective, what I always look at is everything we do is either a brand deposit or a brand withdrawal, right? So you already have people that are fans of Toy Story, fans of Monsters, Inc., I want to do things that are authentic to them, that feel like they're from that world, but also bring something innovative that they haven't seen before. And this is a great example of that, right? It also is a chance for a kid who maybe isn't a football fan to watch this with their favorite characters in a way to get introduced to that world, and a way for a parent who normally would watch the game alone and separate to hang out with their kids and watch the game together. So it's just really a win-win for us.
Yeah, so look, this takes a lot of time to pull together, but in 10 minutes, we're going to show you, pull back the curtain and show you a little bit about how we sort of go about this. Starts with an environment, right? We have to figure out a place to play the game. When we started thinking about monsters, we were like, oh, wait, monsters and humans don't mix, right? Remember that first meeting?
It's true.
And so we were like almost stopped in our tracks, and then we started to work through it, that there was a laugh floor, so why not a cheer floor? So Jay, tell us about
Right,
that.
so I mean, you know, everybody see Monsters, Inc.? If you haven't seen it, it's on Disney+. Take a look, good, thank you. So at the end of Monsters, Inc., if you remember, they learn that children are not toxic, and they learn that their laughs are more powerful than their screams, so it's actually better to make them laugh than to scare them. That's what Mike and Sully learn at the end, and they're able to go back to Boo's room and visit her because they know humans aren't toxic. So we thought, hey, it's already the laugh floor, let's go one step further and make it the cheer floor. As the fans cheer, it'll fill up the canister. So that was our conceit.
So yeah, so this was the environment we created. We've had people seeing this go, the NFL should build a stadium that looks like this.
It's pretty cool.
Just saying. But again, every stadium has to have a cool exclusive club, right? And so, I'm a little bit ahead of myself. First, we have to fill up the stands with the monsters.
Yeah.
So we wanted a crowd. Josh, the NFL, you guys were adamant, like, hey, we need it full of monsters. And there's actually 6,000 monsters attending this game. But we had to figure out how to create all these monsters. So Jay, you want to talk a little bit about the process? We started here with these models.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've watched Monsters, Inc. or Monsters University, you know that the world is full of creatures of different shapes and sizes with claws or tentacles or 15 eyeballs. How do we make it feel believable and immersive in the in the Monsters world? And so we started by actually showing them some of the original artwork we created for the movie all those years ago and how we created the background monsters for the film, and they applied that for this.
So we had this whole thing to choose from, and we picked out these monsters. So this was our crowd. And why? Anybody take a guess? Why did we pick these monsters? They have 2 arms and 2 legs, right? Can't have 6 arms, can't have, 5 heads. It just didn't work. So we had to pick the monsters out that we could work with, and then we eventually filled up the stadium. Jay, art directed, and helped us making sure we used the correct colors and shapes and combinations of monsters.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Monsters is a really bright, vibrant world, so this was fun to work with. I mean, really, a lot of the monsters have these neon colors, so it works really well for this, and it just happens to be that, Mike is this acid green and Sully is this very aqua blue, and we were able to really put all of that color and design language into this in this way that really feels like you're in the Monsters world.
And the cool thing is, I think also with the audience, it's also based on the tracking data in some cases. Like, the audience is responsive on top, like based on the tracking data. So once there's a touchdown or something, like the audience is going wild automatically. Like you don't even have to do something. They're just like actual fans.
They're going to react.
Yeah.
They have like a neutral state where they're kind of hanging in there. And then we have insane mode where we can hit it and they all go crazy. So
just wait. It's going to be great.
So every stadium has an exclusive club. And so we had to put one in at Monsters. So we came up with the idea of the Canister Club, a very exclusive place where the monsters can hang out.
Yeah, and the idea was, we're going to have these shots. We're going to zoom into the Canister Club, see people hanging out in there. You're going to see, these cheer canisters filling up. So it's really exciting, fun world.
And then, of course, we had to create NFL players. And the NFL players, Josh, right, they have to be true, trying to fit in, right?
Uniforms, logos, everything has to be true to form. But what's been amazing, not only has the NFL, I mean, I know sometimes we get different nicknames, the No Fun League, but in this instance, our branding team and creative team has been great. They leaned into the fun part of this and let us get away with stuff that, in my previous experience, we've not been able to get away with. It's really
I mean, the conceit, we were worried at first of like, our very first blush was, can we make them monsters? Can we put horns and tentacles? And NFL was like, it's not really who they are. Luckily, once we got to cheer floor, it's like, oh no, the humans have come to play in the world of monsters, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and we want to be true. We want to respect everybody's IP. We want to make sure we get it right for the NFL. Right. We want to make sure we get it right for Pixar. And same with Beyond Sports. So now we have our players. They're different from the players that played in Toy Story. They fit inside the Monsters world. And we also were lucky enough to be granted the use of Sully, Mike, and Roz. How cool is that, right? They're going to actually be, Sully and Mike are going to play
the original voices. The original voices who voiced them in the first film will be doing the voices for this. That's pretty cool.
And Roz is going to be our sideline reporter. Why? Because she's always watching. Exactly.
Somebody got it. That's right, because Roz is always watching. Yeah. So if you watch this game, you will hear Billy Crystal and John Goodman and the voice of Roz. They'll all be there.
But tell us the strategy behind the characters, because these are the ones that you guys created for the movie.
Right.
But we had to do a little bit of adjusting to get these characters to look like this. So tell us about the process.
Yeah, and you can see they're a little different, and yet they're very much on model. We didn't want people to think like, oh, is Pixar animating in a football game? We're not doing the animation. Beyond Sports is doing it. We wanted to make sure that it felt that they belonged in the world. So this is almost a slightly stylized version of what you saw in the film, but it's enough that kids and parents will recognize these characters.
So now we're going to show you something really fun. And I'll set it up, Jay, because so basically there's a cheer canister challenge at halftime where Mike and Sully are going head-to-head in 3 games to win some cheer canisters. And when we started building this animatic, we had Mike, he's got to climb this ladder because he needs to have a better strike. And as you'll see as he climbs the ladder, he has a parachute on, and it kind of messes up what he's going to do, and it doesn't really work the way it was. But when we got there, Pixar said, not a parachute. What else could we do?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed a little too much of a setup to me from an animation perspective. Like, why would he be wearing a parachute? Because then he's going to go down slow. The point is to actually hammer it hard. So I said, what about if he's wearing a helmet? And on the way down, the helmet's supposed to protect him is the thing that fouls him up. And I said, yeah, that works. So that's the kind of creative solution, finding that we do along the way that I really love. And
so now you see Mike has his helmet on instead of the parachute.
And again, this is still IP and process stuff, but you can see it's already looking pretty good. He's going to do the jump. Is he going to hit the target? And the helmet. Oh, no. Slowed him. Oh, Mike. Bonk. Oh. Yeah.
Not very good.
No, yeah. Slow clap for that one. Okay. Poor Mike.
So this is our job. See, that's how much fun this is, like making decisions like that. Also, this is kind of neat. Like what we do is Pixar gives us toolkit stuff, and our job is to look at it and go, okay, what's going on? How can we make it fit the secondary storylines? And in this next clip, you're going to see Archie the scare pig, and he's being chased by Sully and Mike. And when we get it, it's just over black. And so we have to figure out, okay, how are we going to make this look like it's something as part of the game? So as you'll see at the end of the clip, our talented group of ESPN animators will paint stuff in, and
yeah, Archie's on the scare floor.
And now he's on the field being chased. So just another element that you're going to see in the game on December 8th. And then, of course, we were so happy to have Roz involved, and everybody loves Roz, right? And so, what a better thing for Roz to do besides being a sideline reporter, but to interview NFL players, because we love it when we can mix it in with the players, right?
And the players love it. It's amazing to see. I mean, they were kids when all this stuff came out, most of them, and they love it. Toy Story this year, I think they absolutely love being a part of it. It's great.
And when we can mix it in where Roz and they're interacting with Roz, it really just takes it to the next level. Yeah. So we'll run this clip.
So Roz asking questions. And for those of you who don't know, the voice of Roz is a guy from Pixar named Bob Peterson, who's also the voice of Doug the dog in Up. He's also Mr. Ray in Finding Nemo. So the man is multi-talented at the voices.
And when we were recording with him, he told a great story. He said that after Monsters, when you guys were thinking of doing Monsters, Inc., that you actually wanted to try and move the voice to a female actress.
Yeah.
So he said he worked with a lot of famous female actors. He didn't name them
Yeah.
to try and teach the voice. And at the end of the day, nobody could quite get the voice. And they came back to him and they said, you got to do the voice.
That's part of the process at Pixar is we all do the voices before we cast famous people to do them. So I've done many voices for many characters and they get replaced by real actors. Roz was a good example, and then the other one was Brad Bird, who directed The Incredibles, did the scratch for Edna Mode, and he brought in all these actors. Nobody could be Edna Mode, and so Brad Bird, the director of the film, is Edna Mode. So it just works out that way sometimes.
So having the voice actors was just a big get, right? I know Monsters, is such a beloved franchise. It's heartwarming, and we wanted to make sure we got it right. And so we had to go and really make a best effort. And that's, I think, the power of the NFL, the power of ESPN, the power of Pixar. They wanted to be involved. And that was so heartwarming. It's just great. And so here's a scene, again, work in progress, of Mike. He's answering a question in the locker room. And it is voiced by Billy Crystal. And you'll get a little glimpse of that here. And then, Jay, you can talk about it.
Okay. The same after 25 years. That's so good.
And just like his character, he's a big fan. So he is going to the game, the actual game. And I don't know if that is the reason he decided to be the animated character or not, but he's definitely going to be there. He's a big fan.
I love it.
Yeah, he's going to be with his grandkids. He told us his grandkids are Eagles fans.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what a way
Nice.
for,
Oh,
what
we
a
have
way
some
for
Eagles fans
Grandpa
out there. All right. Fly, Eagles, fly. Okay, there you go. All right, all right.
Good way to impress the grandkids, right? You're the voice of Mike Wazowski.
Exactly.
So look, we get to have fun with this stuff. Again, the NFL helps us ideate, and we get to these points. This in the game, this is going to happen in the pregame. Drew Carter will ask the question, makes us feel like we're advancing stories in real time. Jay helps us get to the point we need to get to with the character movements and stuff. And it really comes together. And we're going to take questions in just a minute, so hopefully you guys start thinking about some stuff you want to ask about this. But we're going to show you, we've done a bunch of animated altcasts today with many wonderful partners and with a lot of wonderful people. And we just want to show you a little bit of what we've done. Remember the blockheads, how it all got started in
2019. I love it. Yeah.
So, we're entertaining questions. I think somebody has a mic out there, but it's not that big of a crowd, or a room rather. If you have a question, let us know. We'd be happy to answer anything about the creative, the tracking, the NFL. Sure.
There's a couple questions there.
Is there a roadmap to distribute this on the Quest for immersive experience, or is it just going to be 2D on TV and things like that?
Yeah, not right now, but it's definitely stuff we've talked about, right? I think you guys actually played with that a little bit on the last ones we did.
Yeah, so it's based on what we're doing in our technology. It can be distributed like it's agnostically, so we can distribute it to any output, whether it's like indeed fully immersive in virtual reality or extended reality, or just on mobile, or maybe even we're doing Roblox and Fortnite as well. So it can be distributed everywhere, and that can already be done now. So it's we're doing that, yeah.
It's the same technology that's in Status Pro, right?
We've tested different technology partners. Status Pro is what they did on. We've worked with Status Pro to do the virtual recreation, but we've looked at other stuff. Status Pro is one that these guys do on studio programming that's awesome and a new way for fans to experience the play. It is animated, but it's not the Toy Story or Monsters. But we've used the tracking data, and we're actively looking at other experiences to bring to fans, whether it's watching a live game or recreating a play. So Status Pro, for example, has a video game that you can play on the headset, or they take the actual game data and recreate a play and allow Dan Orlovsky to explain what the quarterback was thinking from his perspective. It has been a pretty cool experience, but I think, to your point, that's the beginning of the roadmap. We have hopefully a vision to do a lot more in that space.
And I can say actually within these animated altcasts, we're already doing it. And I think Arda can tell, but for the virtual commentator, and we're placing the commentators while using a headset, we place them inside the animated world. So actually what they are seeing is literally the 3D game going on in their vision. So they're also doing the commentary while seeing everything in the NFL case, it's the Monster Inc. environment. So they are fully immersed as commentators inside the 3D world. But yeah, maybe Arda can let you know how that feels.
All right, thank you very much for that. I think we had a few others. Yes, sir, right here.
I'm just curious how competitive. I know when we think about animated altcasts, I know for my readers, they think about Nickelodeon and their NFL game. Do you see this, first of all, is it competitive? And also, do you see other companies like, you think Fox and NBC Universal will jump on this bandwagon with their IP for alternative casts? I don't know if you've got to heard anything or any rumors. I'm just curious.
I mean, other groups have done it, right? There's Nickelodeon's done it. I think Turner did something with hockey with their IP. So yeah, I mean, I think everybody wants to do the best work that they can, right? And they're always going to be trying. And I kind of like to think about it, and I think these guys with me as well, too, is like, look, we're going to do what we do, right? We're very confident that we can keep moving forward, and we're always pressing forward to try new things, and we'll continue to do that in the future. And if we do that, everything else is going to take care of themselves. And that's the way we look at it. Who else? Way in the back. Let's get a question way in the back.
Yes, standing section has a question.
Okay, standing room, go.
Hi, Spike, if I can call you Spike.
Sure.
It was really cool to see the animatic and then how that comes to life. And I was curious, because there are so many creatives there from the Pixar, the Beyond side. Was that ESPN like creative doing the animatic, and were you doing traditional boards even before that? I was just wondering how the ideation came together and how many ideas we don't even get to see in that previs process.
So it happens in a bunch of different ways. We also work with a partner, big studios out of Toronto, but I would say that the ESPN animation team, the studio probably does 90% of the work on these things. And then Pixar gives us stuff to work with, and art directs us, and takes us through. And yes, we start with boards on some things, and other things we just bring stuff to them and say, what do you think?
Yeah, and typically it is storyboards or animatics first. That's how we like to work. That's how we work at Pixar when we're making a film. So it's something I can, give notes on in a phase where it's not too expensive or troublesome to fix when we see it early enough like that. So we work a lot the same way that we do on feature films, we do for this. Works the same way.
And it's funny because we all come from different worlds, right? Movies, ESPN, we got to move lightning quick, right? NFL, you guys week to week, it never stops, and beyond with all the stuff that you have, it's a different, you guys render on Unity. So the trick is trying to make it all work together, right? And we all work with each other to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
Right there and back there now. Oh, okay, let's do this one first, then we'll get there.
I think this question is more for the two gentlemen on the left from our point of view. Is all the tracking data and sensor information also a way to inform the betting platforms? And then the kind of related question is, I think that kind of technology lends itself to football and hockey because there's equipment. Do you find that it will be a different challenge to then apply that same thing for basketball or soccer where they're not wearing lots of equipment where the sensors can be applied?
So good questions. So I'll take them in the order you asked them. So for the betting markets, I mean, we've always envisioned, like I said at the top, that the data would benefit the entire ecosystem of the NFL. When we had that vision, betting was a bad word and it wasn't legalized. And now that it is, I think we lean into it and we provide our data to, we have a data distribution partner who sells that data to bookmakers to help make their odds better. We've seen on free-to-play games where that is a bet, like the first player to get over 20 miles an hour. We have tools at the NFL to help inform bettors, to make them more insightful into the action on the field and better understand the game. So I think the answer is yes, but in a myriad of different ways. And then as to other sports, I mean, we work with partners that work in all the other leagues, and we work with the people at the other leagues. Optical tracking works better in some sports, and it has challenges in football because there are people all together. So combining the data sets is really effective. In a sport like tennis, where people are wide open, or soccer for most of the game, optical tracking works pretty well. So you see different technologies in different games, but I think one thing that is consistent is there's more data and more information coming out of every sport, no matter what it is. And these guys work with all of it, whether it's optical, wearable. I think you can continue to see more and more data coming out.
Yeah, so we're even taking different types of data in, and then on top of that, we're even applying our own data points onto the skeletal to make it visually more appealing. And what we're doing there, for example, if you have a player running and you have the data points, they're running like this actually. But we implement visuals that actually the foot is rolling out or rolling off. And that is something that we can just apply to all sports as well. So it's
yeah. And you guys have done soccer, and we've done basketball with you. We've done our Dunk the Halls, which we're going to have another one on the 25th. So Christmas Day again. So yes, thank you for the question. Couple more. I guess we got a couple. Good.
Obviously, we see sports, it gets very emotional at times, and we've seen in multiple games, this is particularly NHL with fights and whatnot. How do you account for that when it comes to altcasts? Because God forbid we see like Sully and Mike get in a fight.
Yeah.
Or like,
it's a great question.
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
It's come up, actually.
Yeah, and going back to Toy Story, one of the first things I said is, I don't want to see Woody or Buzz on the field doing something, vulgar or hurting another player, right? And so that's tricky. Since then, the technology...
We asked him if he was okay being a kicker because we thought there would be less probability.
That's right.
But we got told no for that,
Yeah,
too.
that's right. Now we have a level of comfort. There's things we can do to make sure that if something's happening, we can, cut away or we can delay or whatever. So we don't, it's real time, but we have enough control over it that we don't worry too much. But it's a great question because from our perspective, we want Pixar fans around the world to see the characters they know and love doing what they know and love. And this is a little bit of a stretch, which is one of the reasons why we let them create the characters in their style as well.
Yeah, and we think about that stuff. We have a scenario for everything. It's interesting when they fight in hockey, they just kind of all mill together and just kind of like
just looks like they're dancing.
Just like rub each other.
Just dancing.
It doesn't even like look like a fight.
They just love each other. That's okay.
Or you be creative and then out of nowhere a cloud is appearing and you see no players at all. Like, we can do that as well.
Yeah.
All right, couple more. We have a time probably for two more. There's two people back there, I think.
It's good. There's so many questions. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, all four of you, for speaking about this today. For the technical and data side of the panel here, is there a specific collection of data points and technical specs that you're excited for the game coming up in a couple weeks that maybe we haven't seen in the previous versions?
No, I think it's just the combination of the optical tracking and the NGS data, and it's getting more detailed there. And then also now that's on our end, we are applying it to like smaller characters, and that's I think the most advanced. Like even if they're throw the ball to them, like we need to adjust that data to make sure that they're catching it, even if Mike is like 2 times smaller. So that's a really good one.
Yeah, and it's tricky because I can already see the improvement in the finesse of the characters' movements, right? You look at Toy Story 1 is really good, but there's moments when you might see characters colliding or glitching, and I'm not seeing that this time on Monsters, so it just keeps getting more fluid to the point where we sort of take it for granted. It's funny, like it's just you don't realize that, and that's when you do something well, the technology is hidden, right? The idea is that technology is a means to tell a story, just like a Pixar film. It's technology that tells a story. And we're telling a story in this really effective way now that it's getting more and more seamless, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add is, when we first did the animated broadcast 2 years ago, we only had optical tracking in a very few venues, and so there was not a lot of testing opportunity. That data set was pretty new. This is the first year we're actually tracking in every venue, and so the Hawkeye data has gotten better, the optical data has gotten better. We've had more testing opportunities. So I don't know that anything's necessarily new, it just continues to get better. On the next-gen side, next-gen stats, we have lots of new stats we're excited about, but they don't fit in this game as much as the tracking data. The tracking data, the raw data itself, has just continued to get better.
Well, thank you. Thank all of you for being here. Thank you very much. And thanks for hanging out and watching 4 people who just love to do what we do.
And
thank
tune
you.
in.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Keep the applause going. That was awesome. And great questions, too, by the way. Samantha Surface is in the audience. She asked the question about fighting. That was my first question when I got hired. I was like, what's the fighting going to look like? A line brawl where they're just all circling each other. There was a question about what it's like to call it. I will quickly answer that question. So I saw the animated broadcast and the actual feed of the game above it. So Drew Carter, who was the play-by-play announcer, could actually watch the game itself because ultimately we have to call the game from the live feed. So it was obviously synced up, and you could see both broadcasts, right? I will tell you a funny story. So I was the reporter. It was very unnatural for me. I had to hold my hand, because we weren't holding actual joysticks like on a MetaQuest 3. We were just, our hands were tracked. So I had to be like this with nothing in my hand. I probably should have had like a prop microphone, but I was like this the whole time with nothing in my hand, which was like very unnatural. And the funniest part to me was I was like, when you're interviewing somebody, an athlete, right, you're not like smiling. You're just, hey, tell us about the game. And I'm just like normal face, right? But my avatar looked like he was pissed off. So I had to exaggerate this. So just picture me in the VR helmet, and I'm interviewing, and I literally look like this. And it's so that the avatar looks normal in a smile. So like that was probably the funniest part for me. All right, we're a little bit behind on time, so all I'm going to tell you is we have a 10-minute break, legitimate 10-minute break. Bathrooms are that way. Disney Store is over there. See you in exactly 10 minutes. our seats so we can begin part 2. That door that I'm pointing to, the garage door, the sooner we get to our seats, the sooner we start the conference again, and that door will open at the end of the conference, and that's where the alcohol is. So all of you get to your seats now so that we can resume part 2 of the Edge Conference momentarily. All right, everybody, if we can make our way to our seats. I see a large congregation of people to my left here by the booths. Really cool that the booths are being engaged, but let's walk on over back to our seats so that we can begin part 2. Over on the other side, those at the Meta booth, Microsoft, Accenture, WSC Sports. Plenty of time to have conversations at the cocktail reception behind that garage-looking door over there. I assure you we will get there very, very soon. So as people are filing back to their seats, just a couple of thoughts. Is everyone enjoying themselves so far? Fantastic. I love to hear it. It's been terrific. We've learned a lot on this stage so far. It's been a tremendous experience. So we have a couple more panels. They are really, really fun. I get to moderate a panel coming up as well, which is going to be great. Just a couple of housekeeping items. I pointed out the Disney store over there. It's open until 7:30 or 8. To be safe, maybe 7:30 would be best. Go check it out if you haven't already. I picked up some store-exclusive pins that are not available in the parks. Unbelievable. My kids are going to go wild. They're going to love it. The tech booths, as you have all congregated around, those are also open during the cocktail reception, so you can continue conversations there if you would like to. But how about we get into it? Shall we bring out our next panel? Excellent. So this one is all about ESPN DTC. Someone told you earlier that means direct to consumer. All of ESPN, all in one place. It's been a very exciting time at the 4 letters. So first, let's bring out our moderator. I cannot believe that I have not worked with this person yet on SportsCenter or anywhere else. It was really cool to meet her for the first time here in person. An NFL reporter at ESPN, Kimberly A. Martin.
Good to see you.
Followed by the Senior Vice President of Marketing at ESPN. Please welcome Joe Fox. The Senior Vice President of ESPN DTC, John Lasker. Woo! And the Vice President of Sports Products and Strategy at Disney Entertainment and ESPN, Brian Marshall.
Appreciate it. Oh, whoa.
Thank you guys for joining us. I'm very excited. I was telling everybody that yesterday I was on a panel with Eli Manning. I was on the phone with Jamar Chase covering his game this weekend. But this panel, this B. Marsh, this JT, this Joe Fox, I'm very excited. So kind of intro yourselves and give us a sense of how you guys are connected to direct-to-consumer products.
Well, we couldn't be more connected at this stage after this year. So I look after marketing at ESPN, so that includes all of our live sports and everything we do, but in particular, in this year, a focus on launching and establishing our direct-to-consumer product. And I spent a lot of time with this gentleman.
Yes, you do. I'm John Lasker. I oversee our overall ESPN DTC business. I've been involved in the streaming at ESPN for the last 10 or so years.
And you go by?
Sorry, I said John, JT.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Get it right.
Not sure who John was. Great, my name's Brian. I'm a product manager on ESPN. I get the pleasure of thinking about our fans and their needs and how we can meet them within our ESPN products to make it easier for them to be a sports fan.
All right, so JT, I'm going to start with you. Cool. Kind of give us an overview. What is the new ESPN direct-to-consumer service? What is it that we in the audience need to know?
So, Kim, you know, our mission at ESPN is to serve sports fans anytime, anywhere, right? And that has led us to some incredible innovations at ESPN, across various platforms and leadership positions on television, on the app, in social media, and most recently streaming with ESPN Plus. And we thought it was the right time to sort of bring all that leadership position together and finally bring ESPN's core services to as many fans as possible. So we came up with a strategy that was anchored really in three things: accessibility. You're trying to make sure that ESPN, the core product, was available to as many people as possible. Your content, making sure our product and our content offering was simplified, right? You come to one place and get everything. And then enhancements, so making sure that people that were coming to watch ESPN were doing so and having the best possible experience on our platforms. And that led us to this product launch in August, which we're calling ESPN, and has two offerings. One is ESPN Select, which is the historically ESPN Plus, and then ESPN Unlimited plan, which basically gives you all of ESPN's networks and services for one price.
So for B. Marsh, how does the ESPN direct-to-consumer affect the overall ESPN app experience?
Yeah, great. So when we decided to set out to refresh the ESPN app as part of the direct-to-consumer launch, it was really with two goals in mind. As JT was saying, first, our mission is to serve sports fans anytime, anywhere, and that was literally what we were trying to do. We love and appreciate all of our MVPD and virtual MVPD partners, but we wanted to make sure we had an offering for people who are outside of that ecosystem to also access ESPN. And second, just to really continue to assert ESPN as the best place to watch live sports and to drive video innovation across the board. I mean, you saw some of that with the earlier panels, and that was really what we set out to do. And we have such a great portfolio of digital products and have something for however somebody wants to be a fan. And we wanted to bring those together alongside our incredible rights portfolio. So now you can watch Monday Night Football and have synced stats and scores and highlights and fantasy and commerce, and really bring that alongside the programming. And since this is an innovation conference here, I wanted to talk about one product we launched called Stream Center, which does just that. It syncs your ESPN app to what you're watching on TV to create this companion experience that only we can bring to fans. So we had a lot of hard problems to solve there. How do we sync the data? How do we turn off notifications? Because we have to sync the data, but we're still sending you score alerts. Then we haven't really quite accomplished anything there. So it's a really exciting product and a problem that we're trying to solve. And just the foundation of things we can do. I mean, you're all great innovators. Think about what we can build now that we have the ESPN app synced to what you're watching on TV.
All right, so JT, between you and I'm about breaking news. I'm about getting information before anybody. So kind of tell me what other developments are in the works in terms of direct-to-consumer and what impact will it have? Tell me what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot already. We like to talk about when we launched in August that it was day one, for us, although it was a massive product and an awesome product that Brian just described. We have so many more things we want to do, and then just in the last couple of months, we launched a bundle with our partners at the NFL, with NFL Plus Premium. We launched a bundle with our friends over at Fox just a month ago. We have new content deals with the WWE and the NFL. All of these things wouldn't happen without having this the direct-to-consumer product out there. It allows us actually not just to innovate in sort of how we serve sports fans, but how we actually present, package, partner, acquire rights.
Okay, so B. Marsh, talk to me, because I can't even get through all this. Okay, so we got new exciting features. We've got verts, we've got multi-view, catch up to live, commerce, so many things. But specifically, I want to talk about SportsCenter because that was launched in beta. Please tell us why.
Yeah, great. So a couple things. First, I have a very biased opinion on this, but I believe that SportsCenter for You is the most ambitious generative AI project that's been launched across sports media. Ever since we launched, we have been creating new personalized episodes of SportsCenter for You every day. That is thousands and thousands of unique clips that we have created for our fans, which meant we had to significantly expand our rights and our highlights catalog. We had to understand those videos and create storylines that made sense for those. We had to work with our incredible SportsCenter anchors, like Hannah Storm, like Gary Struski, like Omar Raja, and really try to figure out how to, and Christine Williamson, and bring their voices into that experience. And then we had to deliver it to our fans all together. So truly an incredible and ambitious project. But to answer your question specifically about beta, one of the things about working at ESPN is how proud we are of our heritage, how proud we are of the IP, and to call something SportsCenter is something that we really appreciate and something we really respect. And while we're happy with the product that we built and it continues to evolve, we wanted to make sure that it was truly a 10 out of 10 before we removed that beta tag.
Okay, so as you advance the project, would you go that route again?
Yeah, I would definitely go that route again. Again, super proud of where it's at, but we would definitely make that choice again.
All right, so this question is for Joe and JT. Again, I'm about getting information before other people. So how do you stay ahead of the incredible pace at which technology moves, and particularly the creativity that exists in this space?
I think in marketing, our thing is always about how do you take this technology and the innovation that we are doing and explain it really simply to fans, right? So that's our job to do. So for us, how do we stay ahead of it? Like, we look everywhere about what people are saying and what are we doing. We use our insight to know what is resonating with fans, and then we try and take it into a really simple message like all of ESPN all in one place that encapsulates everything that B. Marsh and JT have just said to make sure people are aware of it and they understand exactly what we are offering and how they can all fan in a way with us even if they haven't before, and what it adds to their life if they're an existing subscriber.
JT?
I mean, all of that is the root of our mission, really, I mentioned it before, Brian mentioned it too, like to serve sports fans anytime, anywhere. It sounds repetitive, but it's really the core of everything that you're seeing here today. And it's the things that actually challenge us to do things like so innovative and brave, really, like SportsCenter for You. And without that mission and without living it every day, these products wouldn't happen. It actually makes it very easy, asking yourself the question every day. And we're a group of at ESPN, sports fans, right? And we're able to challenge the things that we're expecting fans to have because we are sports fans ourselves and pushing ourselves to make those things happen.
Okay, so one of the things we heard earlier is sort of the creative technology that produces animated telecasts. But when it comes to products themselves, what does the creative and design process look like? What are the conversations like within your respective teams? I guess I'm just a little old sports writer, so explain a plane to me.
Who's that for me?
Oh, yeah, I'll start with B. Marsh. I haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah, sure. So for us, again, it always starts with asking the question, how can we better serve our fans? What jobs are they trying to do, and how can we help accomplish that? We then try to take those needs, map it to some of our business goals. If we solve these needs, will it help drive DA user minutes? Will it just help them be a better sports fan? Will it add moments of delight to the product? And once we map the user needs to these outcomes, we actually just go talk to the fans themselves and see if these are actually true use cases that we're trying to solve. When we do that, we come up with these and turn it over to our incredible designers and creative teams and say, these are the problems that we're trying to solve. We don't tell them, here's the way to do it, but we unleash their creativity with options. We then put those out into A/B tests to see which ones perform the best, and we have this great qualitative plus quantitative approach that really brings our ability to connect to fans.
Can I ask again, what's next for ESPN Direct to Consumer? Because I need to impress people when I step outside this room. So I want to know what's next. What's the new and exciting thing for each of you that we should all be excited about?
So I think there's three things, like in my world of marketing, right? So the first one is we wanted to be unignorable at launch, and I think we proved that we could be. And it's not just me saying that because I'm obviously biased, I'm in marketing. We know through our research that nearly 1 in 2 fans know that we have this new direct-to-consumer offering. But we're really clear that that's day one. So we need to make sure that we are making people, now they're aware of the new offering, understand exactly what it can bring them and how it can improve their ability to be a fan and to engage with ESPN. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we now have full platform distribution. Anybody can be part of ESPN, join ESPN, engage with us, regardless if they're in cable, whether they want a skinny bundle, whether they want to do direct-to-consumer. And that's amazing, because that means we can talk to everyone, even people who are cord cutters, cord nevers, people who have been on the fence. So that means we need to talk to them in a different way. And through some of the work you saw that was playing, we made sure that we are showing up not just in sports areas, but in culture. Right? So at our launch, we were at Complex in retail and then in Walmart as well. We're in TikTok, we're in Snapchat. The whole time we had the E-Train activation. We've made sure that we were talking to everybody because it's not just the hardcore sports fan we want to talk to now. It's those who might just be a bit sports curious. Right. So that is really exciting. That's coming up. There'll be more of that. And then the final thing is that we now have full distribution on the Disney Plus platform, and that's amazing, right? That is a totally different inbuilt audience that we can talk to. And to give you 2 examples of that, the first one, why that helps, we have Savannah Bananas. Anybody a fan here? So it's good to see it, so am I. Although in my accent, Savannah Bananas always sounds like really put on. But so we have Savannah Bananas. Now we know that that is going to really resonate with the Disney Plus audience, and it has, right? So that gives us a whole new audience that we can talk to in marketing and talk to from ESPN. And then something that's coming up like that is we have, and I can't believe it's the first time, we will have the Super Bowl in 2027. Let's go. So from February 2026 to 2027, we'll be able to talk about having the Super Bowl, and we'll be able to talk from the Walt Disney Company, right? So we can talk as sports fans from ESPN. It will be on ABC as well. It will be on Disney Plus, through the ESPN bundle. So that gives us an incredible ability to talk to everyone, avid fans to the curious. So there's lots of exciting things we can do now, and we can show up differently, and all our creativity can come out in that.
I love that.
Joe took all my answers. No, I don't want this to sound like a cop-out, but really everything is next for us. Like this is a massive change and a massive effort for us to come out of the gate with a product like this. And then just in these last couple of months, like we all just described, the things that we've put out in the market, all in the spirit of serving sports fans. It's amazing to sort of imagine what could be next. And I do want to double down on what Joe said about the Disney Plus integration. That's something we've been working on for now almost a year when we originally did that with ESPN Plus. And it's awesome. If you just think about sports fans aren't just sports fans, right? They were looking for all sorts of entertainment, and to be able to bring a product like Disney Plus and Hulu and ESPN together in one app and then imagine what that could look like over time is really exciting.
Yeah, all great answers. I guess I can't say Savannah Bananas. It seems like that one has already been used. There's a number of things we're really excited about. If we were to just pick one, I'm excited about the opportunity that a new video section we just launched called Verts presents for us. So ESPN was really founded on the basis of innovative ways to bring video and highlights to fans back in 1979 from the broadcast going live to Verts in 2025. And what we're excited about with it is right now fans come into our product, they go and try to see how the Knicks did last night. I guess maybe that's not a great example.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, maybe go to the Gamecast page and try to watch highlights from there. And they come in through our amazing insights, analysis, scores, and jump off to video from there. As we think about this new Vert section, we think about it as a new canvas and way to tell stories to a different group of fans. Can we bring people in to an immersive short-form video experience and use that as a jumping off point? Engage this next generation of fans with content that then they can go deeper in. They can go deeper on any particular topic. They can get into stories that way. They can get into Gamecast and more information. So to use video as a canvas for our great content creators to tell their stories and then get people into utility versus the other way around is something we're really excited to continue to pursue.
I could talk to these guys all day, but in the closing few minutes, I kind of want to ask each of you a question to wrap this up. JT, I'll start with you. You've been so close to these direct-to-consumer platforms, ESPN Plus, obviously, which is now part of DTC, but what insights have you gleaned that have sort of helped lead your team focus on business and the platform strategy?
I mean, it does. It starts with thinking about the fan first. When we launched ESPN Plus, the idea there was we were doing such a great job on linear television, which we still do today, but linear television has been limited because there's only 1 hour in the day that you can put that thing on at 7 o'clock. Right. But we knew that sports were happening all over the place. We knew that sports, our fans were interested in a lot of other things. That inspired us to design ESPN Plus in the way that we did. And then 35, I think this year, 35,000 events later, it sort of led us to all of this sort of insights and learning, right? And sort of how fans are behaving on our platforms, like how they're streaming, that then ultimately led us to this direct-to-consumer offering. And ESPN Plus was preceded by Watch ESPN, which we launched in 2012, which was preceded by ESPN3, which was launched in the early 2000s. And all of those learnings sort of led then to that next thing, which has brought us now to this date. And here we all are, able to sort of now peek over the fence to see what the next thing is. And I'm excited to see what happens next.
Now, Joe, one thing you mentioned was this Savannah Bananas, and it kind of sparked this question. What does the modern sports fan look like, and where does this new platform fit in when it comes to reaching them?
Yeah, so I think if you think about the audience we can reach, I talked about that, it's a whole bunch of different people. So we need to make sure that we're not just talking to people about the X's and O's, right? That's great for some people. That's what drives their love of fandom.
Some people love that. Some people love that.
But other people come in for community and conversation, right? And so for us, it's like the modern sports fan is really a complex, multiple, personalities. And the great thing that we can do now is talk to them in all these different ways. And that's what is so fun in this job, right? Like, what is going to drive someone who may not have been into the Knicks, and I'm not just talking about myself, but suddenly is obsessed with the Knicks and can't get enough because they've come in on some water cooler conversation and now they're in deep, right? So how do you spark that? What do you see that's happening? And then you drive, you think about your campaigns from that perspective.
But even the Super Bowl, too, a lot of people don't pay attention to the regular season or even the playoffs, but when Super Bowl comes, they're tuning in. So I can't even express how excited I am that we have that. All right. Obviously, I'm going to end with you, Marsh. You've built a career around the conceiving, the building, the managing of many products in sort of different forms. If you were to create a new product, what would you focus on?
Wow, what a fun question. And it's going to be a somewhat disappointing answer. I have the greatest job in the entire world, and that is to build sports products for fans. And so for me, it is really thinking about, as Joe was saying, how do we engage this next generation of fans and get them to love and care about sports as much as I do? And as Joe was saying, they may fan differently, and really reaching out and talking to them about how you engage them with sports, how you get them to play sports, how you get them to follow sports. That is something that I think about all the time. How we use the great reporting that someone like you does as a jumping off point to bring fans into the experience, to express their opinions on what you said. How do we drive that community is something that I am really passionate about and think about all the time, and I'm lucky that I get a chance to do it every day.
Can I just ask as a follow-up, how much of your job is trying to anticipate what the modern fan will want, or kind of telling them, oh no, you're going to want this? This is, how difficult is it to do that?
Yeah, it's difficult is challenging, but it's also the fun part. It's really, how do we continue to serve the amazing audience that we have today? They're incredible. They are great ambassadors of the brand and something that we really respect. But we literally just spent 2 days up in Bristol, at the beginning of the week, thinking about that exact problem. How do we engage this next generation of fans? And how do we do it in a way that doesn't isolate the fans that we have today, but is welcoming to this new group? So it's something that we think about all the time. And so as soon as we get off this panel, I'm sure I will go back to thinking about it again.
Let me know if
Definitely,
you have
please.
any questions. I can totally help you. No, what I love about this panel is because in my day-to-day, it is very much about the X's and O's. You're talking to players about what happens in between the white lines. And the locked-in sports fan will be watching Get Up and First Take, but this business is all about how do we attract the new people? How do we get people who like the Savannah Bananas?
Exactly.
How do we get them to kind of stay a little bit longer to, listen to some analysis and all these things? So in the closing minutes that we have, is there anything that I should have asked that I failed to do?
No, but I would even say to you, I think one of the great things that we need to do a better job with partnering with you on is you just had this great conversation with Jamar Chase, one of the coolest guys in all of sports, incredible receiver. How can we take some of the things that you're doing with Jamar Chase and bring those into the product experience as well? Bring those as opportunities for our fans to engage and ask, and even try to get feedback from you saying, hey, I'm going to go do this. Here's the types of things I can ask. Would this be helpful for you? So I think really connecting our whole ecosystem together, I think is something that we have a huge opportunity ahead of us to do.
Is there anything I should have asked either of you that you want to?
No, I would just say everybody, all of ESPN all in one place. And if you've not tried it, you should. It's an incredible experience built by B. Marsh and a team of people.
Listen, B. Marsh, 9 a.m. tomorrow, I'm going to send a calendar invite for us to discuss all the ways in which I can help you develop more products.
Amazing. Who knows what city you'll be in? I mean, I'm sure you wake up in a different city and have to remind yourself every morning. But yeah,
I'm going
excited.
to Pittsburgh, so we'll talk. But that concludes our panel. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
After you.
Applause going, absolutely. Absolutely. How about as we get the waters changed here, how about a round of applause for our floor directors, Beth and Danielle? Our producer, Christine, director, Lisa, our entire crew, they've been absolutely wonderful in putting together the Edge Innovation Conference. Time for my panel. I'm very excited. This is the second year in a row that I get to moderate this particular panel, XR, Immersive Sports Storytelling, and we have a really cool panel to dive into this subject. First, let me introduce to the stage the Vice President of Strategic Operations, Design, and Production at the Walt Disney Company, Sonia Doshi. Followed by the Virtual Design Director at Industrial Light and Magic, Tim Alexander. And finally, the Vice President of Reality Labs Entertainment at Meta, Bob Morgan. Great to see you all. This is a wonderful topic that I had a lot of fun discussing last year, and I can't wait to dive into it here. I have a lot of firsts in this department. I was esteemed, as I've been told, the first SportsCenter anchor to be in a VR project, which was really cool. We talked about alternate broadcasts, a lot of things that you guys work on. I'm in my Meta headset pretty much every day. I've consumed a lot of the Star Wars content. You may or may not know this. I am a big Star Wars fan. I may or may not, once upon a time, have dressed up as Grand Admiral Thrawn on an episode of SportsCenter. This definitely happened. That makeup took about 35 minutes, less than I thought, to be honest with you. But all this to say, I lobbied to be the moderator of this panel because I love this subject matter, and I can't wait to dive into all that you guys do, but also what's coming up. So why don't we do this? Just talk a little bit about, introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your job, but also, why you're so drawn to this technology in particular.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. It's so great to be here. My name is Sonia Doshi. I have been with the Walt Disney Company for about 6.5 years, working in the studio for a large chunk of that, leading our UX and visual design teams and our strategic operation teams, building products and tech for our filmmakers, our creatives across the production pipeline. And now I lead our strategic operations and design team for a new organization called the Office of Technology Enablement, where I help manage our AI and mixed reality strategies across the company. I also get to lead our Studio Lab team, which is an innovation lab at the studio and is actually the sister team, essentially, to ESPN Edge, so we get to work with them really closely.
Do you have a conference that needs hosting? I'm just
Absolutely, Arda. I'll be calling you. And I think, I'm drawn to this technology, mixed reality in particular, because personally, as a fan, I'm this sort of fan who likes to go deep. If there's a show I'm hooked on, or if there's a story I'm into, or a team that I'm following, right now it's the Pistons, I want the side stories. I want the behind the scenes. I want the player history. I want to follow the arcs, and I want to be able to go deeper and step into our worlds and get closer to our characters. And I think a lot of our audiences and fans have that same appetite. And I think mixed reality allows us to do exactly that. It's basically real-time magic, and that's what makes it so exciting. But I think the nerdy part of it, too, is that we're getting to blend and experiment with new creative and technical approaches to actually create these experiences. And so when we get to work with the best in the business with ILM or with Meta, we're getting to explore new game development and traditional filmmaking techniques and how they work together. And we are getting to think about design in brand new ways now, not limited by a 2D rectilinear screen, but thinking about how you design in spatial and 3D with no constraints. And it's been really, really fun to navigate that challenge together.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Alexander. My career actually started at the Disney Company. I worked for a group called Buena Vista Visual Effects way back when, actually on the studio lot in the Ink and Paint building. After working on a stop-motion film called James and the Giant Peach, I got a job at ILM, and I've been there a shocking 28 years now. And about 10 years ago, I got very interested in real-time, interactive, immersive, XR, whatever you want to call it. My entry point was through an experience called Carnegie Arena, which was a virtual reality location-based thing that we did, and we actually won a special Oscar that year for a new form of storytelling, so it was super exciting. And so I was part of the group X Lab, which was formed with the kind of the blue ocean strategy, which is, find your area and swim in that area and create something there. And that's what's really been just so interesting for me, is that we really want to focus on storytelling and world building, but also that the technology can enable those things. So that's really why I'm excited about this, because ILM's always been a center for innovation, and they really want us to explore. And getting into this space has been super exciting because they've really let us kind of like take that and go with it and try something new.
I'm Bob Morgan. I lead the entertainment team for Reality Labs at Meta. I'm a 12-year Facebook, now Meta veteran. I actually got started through a startup in sports and tech at Facebook. I was acquired by Facebook. ESPN was our biggest customer, so coming back to a conference that's hosted by ESPN feels full circle. Last few years have been entirely focused on producing content. We do music, sports, film, TV. This panel is perfect for the work that we do day to day. So we source, develop, and produce content with great partners like many of you in this room to deliver to the Quest VR headset. And thrilled to be here and talk storytelling.
Yeah, and I can't wait to dive into all of that. I would love to get an update, Sonia, because I remember in hosting this panel last year, Jamie Voris was here, and this new branch literally just dropped in and around that time.
I think it was the same week.
The same week. And so it was very new, and now we have a year under our belt. So the Office of Technology and Enablement, just give us an update on the new org.
Yeah, absolutely. So we established this new organization led by Jamie Voris, who's previously the CTO of the studio, to sort of meet the transformation that we're facing across emerging tech head on. So our mission and role is to help drive the responsible adoption of emerging tech across areas like AI and XR across the company, from studios to television to ESPN to Disney experiences, and we help drive strategic coordination and make sure that we're learning from each other as the pace of technology is advancing in a way that we have never seen before. And with ESPN, that means that we get to co-create and think about how we are enabling new XR-driven sports experiences, and we're looking at ways to expand production capabilities to deepen fan engagement as new devices and platforms come to market. And it's been really exciting across every business. You know, the types of experiences, the formats, the audience might vary, but I think what unites us is we really care about building deeply emotionally resonant and immersive experiences, and that requires a lot more collaboration than ever before. And so in that spirit, actually, I wanted to give you all in the room a quick look of some of the incredible stories that we have coming up on our slate across Disney and across our brands, because it's such a core driver of what inspires the innovation work that we do on a day-to-day. So let's take a quick look.
About ready to run through a wall now. I don't know about you, but let's turn our attention to Tim and ILM. Just curious in the audience, how many Star Wars fans do we have here? We have a few. How many of you have been able to experience any of the VR experiences in Star Wars? Okay, so we have a couple here. So this question is really for us. I've done them all. I have done start to finish Vader Immortal, which is a really cool story surrounding Darth Vader. It's 3 episodes. It's almost like an interactive limited series. It's amazing. Yeah, it's surreal. It really opened my eyes to how I want to consume a lot of my storytelling in the future. Obviously, there's Beyond Victory, which just got released, the pod racing, and the storytelling there, and also Tales from Galaxy's Edge. So I'm just curious, like, there's one scene that we talked about beforehand where you see Darth Vader for the first time in VR, immersed, and you're walking through, and it's a very, very, like, ominous scene, and he appears, and it just, like, shocks you to your core. Like, it's such a memorable moment. I'm just curious, like, from your vantage point, like, how did that come about? And also just talk about Star Wars and storytelling in meta in general.
Sure. Yeah, actually, that's a very interesting moment, because that was the first thing that we actually experimented with, which was seeing Vader in VR. We were curious ourselves. This was sort of very early on in the whole, you know, VR. What can we do with it? Space, and you know, we're like, what can we do that we can't do, like, you know, on a screen, or, you know, in a 2D way? And somebody was like, well, we could walk up and see Vader. What if Vader came at you? So that was actually one of the very first things that we did, and we probably had exactly the same feeling you had when we first saw it as well. And we knew that we were onto something then. And that's actually like a lot of the way we do this, which is you do have to try to experiment. You do have to try things out, because we're not exactly sure, you know, the storytelling mechanisms yet for VR. I mean, now we've been doing it now for about 10 years, so we have some thoughts around that, but we still do experiment quite a bit. Meta's been a great partner in that, in bringing us ideas, and we work with them on ideas that we have. We try things out, and that's really the way that our stories start to get formed. We definitely focus on story. That's kind of like our DNA. It's what Lucasfilm is about. It's what ILM has always been about. And then combining that with the highest quality visuals, highest fidelity visuals that we possibly can. And that's kind of our approach to it. And we've got a reel, I think, now that we can show you that kind of shows what our DNA is at Lucasfilm and ILM.
Story drives everything that we do. It's the most important place to start.
You're always on the verge of that moment with the right story, with the right moment in time, and the right people.
The idea that you get to wake up every day and work on something that you love with people that are extraordinarily talented, that share a common vision, it's quite remarkable.
We mix the technology and the art together. That just opens the door for different kinds of creative storytelling opportunities.
You have the opportunity to work side by side with people who pioneered an entire industry. people who've got that passion, that audacity to think that there is no story point or imagery that is asked of us that we won't be able to figure out.
It's an extremely exciting time in the evolution of visual effects. And ILM is there to support those creative ambitions.
We want to really find those solutions that work for the design and also for the story.
You really feel like you're not just a technical part of the process. You're a real artistic contributor to the story.
Every show allows you an opportunity to come up with something that no one's ever seen before. So we always try to push ourselves.
It is just wonderful to be at a company where we keep raising the bar.
Our intention is always, let's build a really exciting space for storytelling. And if a game company, an animated series wants to play in this new space, we'll have those creative conversations.
What is it we want to say to the world, and how do we want to use Star Wars to say that? Anything that we can do that can bring people together feels like an honor to be a part of.
Everybody around the whole world, they can look at something in Star Wars and see themselves there in that galaxy. We wanted to make this adventure one that you will never forget. It all works best if you have a good story.
All right, kid. You ready for an adventure?
Not bad, not bad, not bad. Fun fact, by the way, just to bring it to sports for a second. So Dave Filoni, the chief creative officer, massive Pittsburgh sports fan, big hockey fan, to bring it to my primary beat, huge Pittsburgh Penguins fan. Any Penguins fans in the house? We got a couple, the one guy. So Dave Filoni is your guy. He wears Pittsburgh Penguins hats. He goes to the Mario Lemieux fantasy camp every year. It's usually in March or April. He's a goaltender. I think he plays in a league too. Like, he's a diehard hockey guy. I have to meet him someday, is what I'm saying. Anyhow, to Meta now. So I understand you guys are constantly working together when you're not on stage doing panels, but how does Meta fit into all of this and how you guys work together?
Sure. You know, with the Quest headset, you've got this amazing display, you know, this ability to, as we've been talking about, really open up the canvas for storytelling. And, you know, a lot of the work that my team does is, you know, how do we work in service of the storyteller? You know, whether it's sports or producing a concert, and of course, film and TV, you know, these are all different types of stories. And as we introduce this new canvas, there's different ways of telling those stories. And we think of ourselves as a guide. Like, how do we help our creative partners think through how they're going to produce something for the device? And we always want to make sure that creative intent has primacy in the work. And you look at these reels and you listen to Tim and Sonia talk about their work, and you can't help but be humbled. Like, this is incredible content to be able to partner on. And so we really want to, like, how quickly can we get our partners up to speed on the platform and really think about things. So when we start to engage, it's, you know, I think of it as a continuum of immersive storytelling. So now, in fairness, you can really, for most of Quest's lifespan, it's been about gaming. And we've started to see more and more entertainment use and fans of these amazing content experiences using the device a lot for entertainment purposes. So we think about things in a few different ways on this continuum. So you've got 2D experiences where you can get this giant virtual screen, high resolution. We've just announced partnership with Dolby where you can have Dolby Atmos and Vision to really, again, get that creative intent as beautiful as possible in a 2D format. What most people are starting to realize is the Quest headset is an amazing 3D cinema. So we've partnered with James Cameron and Lightstorm, and what we really want to do is get more and more people in the industry coming back to 3D. You know, the TVs have gone away, and there's only so many cinemas that can really deliver quality 3D, but it's just such an engaging, beautiful format. You've got Avatar: Fire and Ash is going to be the next example coming December 19th, but we've had exclusive clip and trailer in Quest, and I really encourage you to check it out. It's gorgeous, and I think hopefully inspiring of what you can do with that format. Then you start to get into, you know, that's all of those things are within the proscenium, the rectangle of telling the story, which people have been doing for years with video, of course. But when you have XR, you can break that proscenium, you can break the rectangle and bring the story into the fan's environment. And we really want to do that thoughtfully. We want that to be something where the creator says, hey, that's a story that I can tell the way I want now that I've got this much larger canvas, and showing things like being able to put you courtside at an NBA game is really phenomenal. Like you're able to get the full field of view for the person that makes it then feel really deeply immersive. And then things like Vader Immortal was a breakthrough. Like you have to be really thoughtful about when you're putting the fan inside of the experience. Like who are you? What journey are you going on? And there's been nobody like ILM. That is just a beloved series. I've been telling Tim, it's exceptionally well done, I think, of finding that balance of how to put somebody inside the story.
And honestly, even if you're not a Star Wars fan, I urge you to try it because it changes your paradigm. It was transformative in the way that you would want to consume future stories. Like in any IP, anywhere, it was like I got the benefit of it because it was Star Wars and I love Star Wars. But like no matter what IP it would have changed my perspective so much. So that honestly, amazing job there. Okay, let's end on this. Let's go Bob, Tim, and Sonia for this answer. Last year I asked, hey, what does the industry look like in 10 years? You can feel free to answer that if you want. But there are a lot of people in this room that maybe they're not working with the Walt Disney Company right now. Maybe they are looking to find touch points. Maybe they're looking for an entry point. They want to work with you. They're inspired by what they're hearing on the stage. So I'm curious, how can this audience either work with us or help grow this space? Let's start with you.
Yeah, there's a few different things. One, for Meta, we've got to get to form factors I think people are going to be very comfortable with, that feel really good, and so you can watch tons and tons of content just like you do it at home. But to get there, from a production perspective, there's a lot of really practical things. Right now, for 3D, for example, you're shooting 2D and then a separate rig to shoot for 3D. Over time, we just see 3D should be ubiquitous. It should be one rig. You know, one lens is shooting 2D, the other is getting you that stereoscopic view. Already the things that we're doing with the NBA and ESPN to get those sports things that you're seeing there, we're getting to a very low footprint. So it's a much more practical way of producing the content. So I think in 10 years, what we're hoping is this is just a very natural thing, that we have a lot of work to do and are making great progress on just the practicalities of production, getting costs down, making sure that it's not a burden or overhead for the producing team. And I'm really excited to see those. You know, it's the less sexy stuff, it's behind the scenes, but for a crowd like this, I think that's critically important.
When we think about it, one way everybody can really get involved is actually to consume the content, try the content, and experiment with the content. I can't stress enough that it's hard to tell stories in these spaces, and just like you were saying about trying to thread the needle on Vader and sort of follow the rules of Star Wars, but you're in a completely new space, and what can you do with Vader and what can't you? And it's all really about trying it. How does it feel? You're probably not going to get it right the first time, so really just experiencing as much XR content as you can and experimenting in that space is really important. And then when we actually create content, making content really good, making it very good for our audience. There's still quite a bit of friction for people to get into a headset. You know, it's not just you just throw it on, although it's getting much easier, but there's still friction to get people in there. So when they do get in there, we want to meet them with the best content possible so that they want to come back and they don't have a bad experience. So those are kind of the two areas that I think we really should focus.
Yeah, I think you both covered it. To echo that, I think for us, it's just we want to prepare for the moment when guests, audiences, when all of you are wearing glasses or headsets on a day-to-day at home to watch content, or in our parks, or in our, you know, to consume a game. And what does that actually mean for what your current experiences look like? And I think just starting to think about that, and it starts by trying it. Getting some of the amazing Meta glasses or headsets, trying a few things, and you'll immediately start to see parallels between a maybe story-driven piece and how that could translate to a broadcast. The animated telecast is such a great example of where worlds are colliding, and I think this type of technology allows for that, allows for you to completely reimagine what you could do with your story, your IP, your league in a totally different way. And so yeah, I think it's about trying things and having a willingness to expand your pipelines and to experiment. And I think that's really important in this moment because it's coming soon and it's coming quickly.
The edge of the future, the edge of technology, and 3 esteemed panelists at the forefront. How about a big round of applause for our awesome panel? Very insightful. I'm going to have to stay on stage to close things out, but we'll say thank you very much to all 3 of you. I understand you guys have a meeting together tomorrow, which is even better. Hilarious. Literally working together, so. All right, so at this point, we're going to say goodbye to our virtual audience who are watching live on stream, because the thing after that, they are not allowed to see. Sorry. Be in person next year. So what we're going to do is you're going to actually have to see me do this twice. I'm going to say goodbye twice. So to our virtual audience, we would like to thank you very much for tuning in wherever you might be, whether you are at home, at work, with friends. Thank you very much for virtually attending the 5th annual ESPN Edge Innovation Conference. Now, this is where we act all really excited. Woo! Thank you! Thank you very much! We'll see you next year! Yeah!